Hello there people, this is Bruce Be Cool or nintenbruce here, and we are back with a cold, which is why my voice is different. But besides that, we are also back on Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Decade Duels for the Xbox 360 with another deck recipe. And this one is actually the requested Chimeratech Overdragon deck. This has been requested for a while, but I've kept telling people that I haven't been happy with it until I increase the speed or the power, or just increase the win rate basically. And with a few subtle changes, well, big changes actually, it works out extremely well. And this is now the Gadjilatech deck, I call it. So, as per usual, we have monsters, spells and traps that I'm going to go through, as well as some of the combos. And yeah, we'll go from there. So starting off, 2 Ancient Gear Gadjiltron Dragons. Amazing, 3000 attack. Not so fussed about the defense there, but those of you who have bumped into this card or play them know that it's super easy to summon if this card here is destroyed, essentially Geartown. And what it is once Geartown is destroyed, special summon any Ancient Gear monster from the graveyard, deck or hand. Obviously you're not going to want to tribute summon this, although you might feel the need to with Geartown on the field. But yeah, that's why it's there. It's also comboed with trade-ins if they get jammed up in your hand. Yeah, beautiful, and it's a machine, so obviously it's going to work with things like limiter removal, future fusion, etc, etc. So yeah, definitely whack 2 of these in. 3 black salvos. Now, the main reason here is obviously for tuning, and when using things like future fusion, you're going to want to try and leave black salvos out, or at least leave 2 in the deck, because once you've dumped most of your monsters in the graveyard with future fusion, you're not going to have many dark monsters to use things with like Allure Of Darkness with, and black salvo, with its special effect of getting a level 4 dark monster from the graveyard to the field, you can then black rose the field or do the Darkstrike Fighter for game. But yeah, black rose would obviously clear the field for you to then use overload fusion, and Darkstrike is there for just tons of damage. I mean, it is possible to bring that and a few Ancient Gear Gadjiltrons out for game, but yeah, keep black salvos in the deck, definitely don't remove them from play. 2 blast spheres, yes, it's nice for damage, but it is there as a dark level 4 monster for salvo, and it is quite nice to blow up the monster as well, to be honest with you, if you're in a bit of a bad way. 1 card trooper, only use its effects if you've got the stuff you need already out, like overload fusion, future fusion, etc, etc. It's mainly there as well for the draw power, besides being a machine type. So yeah, 1 of those. Obviously you have to have a Cyber Dragon. You can't really run this without Cyber Dragon, otherwise it's just going to be super difficult with the other one, the Proto-Cyber Dragon anyway. But yes, you're going to want to try and keep this in the deck. Worst case scenario, if it's in your hand, then you can dump it in the graveyard and wait for overload fusion, or still get it anyway. And you can even use things like, if the opponent's got any monsters, still get out Chimeratech, what's it, Fortress Dragon as well, I believe it's called. So yeah, try and keep this in the deck. I don't run any Pot of Avarices in this deck, but not Pot of Avarice, sorry. Yeah, actually Pot of Avarice or Magical Reload. They do help put Cyber Dragon in the deck, but I've got them in the side, okay, because most of the time you can win with Gadjiltron. That's the point, you've got a backup. So if Chimeratech Overdragon doesn't work, say someone destroys your future fusion, then you've still got the Gear Gadjiltrons to think about, as well as the black salvo. So yeah, there's 2 or 3 ways to actually win with this deck now. 2 Cyber Valleys, mainly there for drawing more than anything else, as well as a bit of a stall. 2 Dekoichis, again a level 4 dark machine type monster to be summoned with black salvo and draw power. 1 Marshmallon, you're probably thinking, oh, this is probably another filler card that Bruce has, but honestly it's actually quite good for stalling in this deck. Some of the time you are going to have a duff hand. It is very rare admittedly, but some of the time you will have a duff hand, and this at least holds off the opponent until you get the right cards and combos to pull off. Morphing Jar, absolutely amazing. Set your things like limiter removal, etc, etc, and obviously flip it and draw through your deck again. 1 Proto-Cyber Dragon, you could get away with 2 possibly, but I only do the 1, and that can be used with obviously again doing the overload fusion, etc, etc. It's there as a substitute because you can't just purely rely on just 1 Cyber Dragon. Well, you can try, but it will be very difficult. 1 Sangan to search what you need. Spirit Reaper, again as a stall there. Actually, I feel I should go back to Sangan. If you do get a Sangan, try and aim for Morphing Jar, because the idea is you want to, you know, get the cards that you need straight off the bat, okay? So yeah, get Morphing Jar as soon as you can with that. Spirit Reaper and 2 Mechanical Chasers. There for attack, as well as, guess what, Black Salvo, of course. So, moving on to spells now. Allure of Darkness. When you've used things like Future Fusion, it is possible to still bump into things like Black Salvo, or Sangan, Spirit Reaper, etc. Use Allure of Darkness with them if you know you can afford to, essentially. Future Fusion, like I said before, you're going to want to use it as soon as possible, basically. I wouldn't hold off using it, just use it as soon as you can and leave Black Salvos in deck. Everything else can go in the graveyard. Even if you've got trade-ins in your hand, I would still suggest putting Gadjiltron in the graveyard because you can use Geartown to special summon it out again. So on that front, 3 Geartowns. No need for a terraforming here because you're going to bump into these more often than not. And something that some people make a mistake of doing, which I'll put my hands up to doing as well, is they'll play a Geartown and then they'll play another Geartown on top of it, but they'll do it face up. So the effect of the Geartown you just played actually makes you miss your chance of activating the Geartown which went to the graveyard. So if you were doing that, remember, play it face down first and then flip it up if needs be, okay? Like I say, you know, Ancient Gear monsters take 1 less tribute as well, so you might feel the need to do that depending if you've got Ancient Gear Gadjiltron in your hand, but yeah, I'll leave that to your discretion. And the other thing, which will come up later, is magical hats. I'll tell you more about that with these in a second. Giant Trunade to clear the field. 2 gold sarcophaguses, or sarcophagi, I guess you could say. Quite simple. Future Fusion with 1, Overload Fusion with the other. If it's other things, then you could concentrate on Morphing Jar, maybe a few other things. But yeah, it's not going to be much, to be honest with you. Heavy Storm, again clear the field. Limiter removal, absolutely beautiful in this deck. Obviously, almost everything's a machine, so it'll double the attack. And with the easy amount of special summoning, like Black Salvo for Darkstrike, Ancient Gear Gadjiltron coming out, or even having Chimeratech Overdragon out, you're definitely going to get a kill with this. So try and hold on to that as much as you can. Mystical Space Typhoon, clearance. Overload Fusion, remove from play from your side of the field or your graveyard fusion material monsters that are listed on the Dark Machine type fusion monster card, like Chimeratech Overdragon. And as long as you've got 10 monsters in the graveyard to do that, then that's 8,000 damage if you can attack directly. Which, speaking of which, Shooting Starbow Ceal. So attach it to something which has been juiced up, and sure, it loses 1,000 attack, but it attacks directly. What more could you ask for, you know? 2 trade-ins. Sometimes you are going to bump into these when they're dead draws, but you've got things like Morphing Jar to get rid of them, to be honest with you. And if you really wanted to, you can see Magical Hats, so you can search trade-ins out from that if need be, just to thin the deck out. So on to traps. Magical Hats then. Priority 1, get Geartowns out. So when you use it, its effect is destroy the cards which got sent to the graveyard. I'm being very unspecific here, I'm not sure if that's a word, but yeah, basically when someone attacks you, you use it, put Geartowns face down, and because they get destroyed at the end of the battle phase, you get the choice to then special summon out Gadjiltron twice, essentially. So yeah, beautiful stuff. A lot of people have been on at me about this combo as well, so thank you guys for that. Mirror Force, self-explanatory, and Torrential Tribute, again self-explanatory. So, as you can see, quite different from what I've played in the past, but it works, that's the thing. So moving on to the extra deck, you're going to want 2 Chimeratech Fortress Dragons, because you never know. 2 Chimeratech Overdragons, again, you know, why not? 2 Black Rose, you can get away. You can even get away with putting a 3rd one in, to be honest with you, because the amount of 7-star synchro summoning you can do is intense, you know. Again, you're going to want to do Black Rose to clear the field, to lay the way for either Gadjiltron. Remember in mind, this destroys all that's on the field, so if you set Geartown, then fantastic, you then get a Gadjiltron out. And yeah, like I say, clears the way for Chimeratech Overdragon, okay? 3 Darkstrike Fighter. You're not really going to use its burn effect more often than not, because at the end of the day, limiter removal, 5200 attack, absolutely amazing, you know? Goyo Guardian, although you won't be able to special summon him that much. Iron Chain Dragon. Sorry, excuse me, my voice is giving out thanks to my cold now. I don't know why I've still got this in. This might as well go back for another Black Rose, to be honest with you. And yeah, Red Dragon Archfiend and Stardust, just in case. Because the thing is, Black Salvo with Cyber Dragon on the field, you can get one of those out, you know, why not? Side deck, I haven't concentrated on too much, but the thing that's going to kill this deck is remove from play, essentially. So we've got a couple of Jinzos out to stop traps, card destruction if you want to fly through your deck even quicker, different dimension reincarnation, why not? Magical Mallets, like I say, if for some odd reason you're really unlucky and Cyber Dragon keeps appearing in your hand, then those will actually put it back into the deck, and you can even get what you need out, like Limiter Removal, Future Fusion, etc, etc. A Megamorph, that's quite a biggie, but not main deck material, I'd say. Monster Reborn, Pot of Avarice, 2 Dust Tornadoes, 3 Imperial Iron Walls, and a Return from the Different Dimension. And there we have it. So, like, let me just find this this card, because that's going to be stupid leaving the deck like that. But yeah, that is the deck in its entirety now. So, what can I say? It's an amazing deck. I've definitely had a few games, obviously against computer players and human players now with it, and yeah, it can stand up to a lot of things. It can even finish someone off on the 3rd turn, if you're really lucky the 2nd turn, and by 2nd turn I mean that's from your opponent going first and you taking the 2nd turn. Yeah, it is absolutely godly. So, on that note, if you've got any questions or comments, pop them in that description below. You know I love replying to you. Why do I keep calling it the description box? I do not know. Comments box, you know what I mean. And if you like it, if you like what you see rather, by all means give us a good old thumbs up for us. You know, I really appreciate it. And yeah, that is it for now. So, you guys take care, and I will see you again soon. Hopefully not with the cold.